Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video topic will be discussing and openly speaking up against the harassment that I've been on the receiving end for a long time now. I've already spoken up about this in the format of a story time. However, because I have not actually been upfront about the abuse and harassment I have been dealing with, I'd like to take the time to fully discuss and open up about the awful things that have been happening to me. In this video, I hope to be far more confrontational than I have been before and bring awareness to what this person has been doing. As an additional note, I have already had to contact the authorities just because of how absolutely insane this has become. Before we begin with this video, I would like to thank Prisonmate Luke for giving me the platform to speak out against this insane amount of abuse. I honestly did not imagine I'd be given this much support and kindness, and he has been so compassionate and encouraging towards me. It means the world that I can be given a platform so I can talk about the horrific amount of abuse that I've been receiving. For more than 10 months now, since 2020, so almost a full year now, I've been dealing with an extremely abusive stalker who has threatened to contact my family, sent me violent, abusive and graphic messages, and they've already outed me to my mother and threatened to contact my family. All of this over a fictional character I liked that they just hated. From what I've been able to tell from their messages, this is someone who just takes pleasure in harassing survivors of CSA and purposefully triggering them to the point they delete their account. However, because I have stood tall and did not delete my accounts like they wanted me to, the harassment has only continued to persist, and I finally feel comfortable enough to expose this on my platform. This extreme amount of harassment I've been getting was literally because this person simply despised Asgore, and I was literally minding my own business, posting about him on my personal blog, and using my social media as a means to vent. I was a relatively small artist, and for the most part I never had anyone to bother me to this incredulous degree. I believe this person is dangerous and should be exposed for what they have been doing, and spread this everywhere in the fandom as much as possible, because they are so unhealthily obsessed with the fact that I like a fictional character that they hate, and for whatever reason, because of this, they felt the need to out me to my own mother as a trans person, as well as threaten to contact my abusive father. Although this person is anonymous and refuses to reveal themselves and their identity, I do not believe this should protect them from being exposed by this disgusting things that they've done to me. I will be putting out various trigger warnings for this subject because it's just a whole lot. This video will discuss content such as incest, pedophilia, rape apologism, transphobia and misgendering, stalking, violent and graphic messages, and blackmail. If you are triggered by any of these mentioned, please proceed with caution if you choose to further watch this video. As I am a survivor of child sex and recovering from trauma with Asgore as my coping mechanism, I've had to deal with a lot of triggering messages invalidating my trauma, purely because I enjoyed a fictional character they hated, which, when you say out loud, is just plain ridiculous and insane. The abuse started with this ask that I received with an anonymous person sending me the most vile and disgusting graphic message possible about Asgore. I immediately deleted the anonymous ask in my inbox, blocked the person, turned anonymous off completely, and just went on with my day. Because I'm no stranger to weirdos sending me messages that I usually just shrug off and ignore, simply because to me they're harmless, annoying trolls and they are everywhere. Be warned, what I'm about to read out is beyond disturbing and gross. This person is not right in the head at all whatsoever for them to be sending CSA survivors this kind of shit. I don't even want to read it out in my own voice. That's just how disgusted and uncomfortable I am with this message.
Asg-re had so much pleasure killing those kids that he ejaculated over the corpses and continued to masturbate over the corpses of the children he killed. They probably all became his sleeve.
I showed this message to my friends who were just as grossed out and disgusted as I was, but we eventually laughed it off and we didn't think it was a big deal. However, if this is how it ended, and if this person really was just an annoying harmless troll, I would not be here making this video. This person has been persistent in going after me even when I decided to stay silent and just quietly try to endure it. Shortly after a couple of weeks went by, I was informed and confronted by my mother, who had received an email by this person claiming they were a quote-unquote concerned Christian mother who was looking out for her daughter. And they showed my mother dozens of screenshots of me venting about her on my personal account, as well as me being openly bisexual and non-binary. This was an active attempt to invade my privacy purely because I liked Asgore. Let that sink in. As you can tell in the screenshots, they claim that I quote-unquote self-harm in the name of a satanic goat called Asgore, and that I was exposing children to pornography, which they had little to no proof whatsoever, besides literally just screenshots of me venting on my social media account about my frustrations and trauma that I was experiencing. Most of these vents were ones that I had already deleted an hour or day later. However, somehow this stalker was monitoring my account enough that they were able to take screenshots of them on their iPhone and save them for later use, which is just disgusting. I would like to clarify that I have never exposed my mother's email anywhere, nor did I publicly post her contact details anywhere. The only way they would have been able to obtain this was through some sort of hacking, which I was able to find out that this was exactly what happened. This person was unhinged enough that they tracked down my family and literally outed me to my mother as an attempt to endanger me. On my account, I would often vent a lot about the fights we had, as well as my frustration from her not being understanding about LGBTQ plus representation, and they used this to their advantage as an invasion of privacy. The reason this is so cruel of someone to do is because this was an active attempt to endanger me as someone who is LGBTQ plus and closeted. It's common knowledge that we often face threats of homophobia, violence, and literally being kicked out by their own parents just for being gay and trans. And while they were thankfully unsuccessful with this, as I managed to talk this out with my mother, and we reached a resolution, the very fact that this was even an attempt for something like that to happen is honestly disgusting. This person continued to harass me and send me disgusting messages, and at this point I was just honestly getting fed up and tired of it. In these messages, they would often tell me that I had real fantasies about my father, who I had already mentioned to have groomed and manipulated me, and that Asgore was a child rapist and a pedophile. Even though that is absolutely not what happened in Undertale, and this person is either just projecting to the extreme or they just wanted to invalidate my coping mechanism even further. Whatever the reason was, what they have been doing is completely unjustifiable, and I'm just so tired of staying silent about it. To this day, this person is still harassing me and sending me non-stop spam emails, as well as subscribing me to gross fetish dating websites, which I don't even want to get into. Although I have spoken up about this in the past and hope to be able to spread this throughout the fandom, the posts I had made before as well as my friend's post only got a few likes and retweets and so on forth. I honestly had thought of reaching out to someone as like a large creator before, like Prismate Luke, but I was too scared of being a burden and just annoying, and so I kept my mouth closed when in the first place I should not have had to worry about asking for the support at all. Threats and abusive messages, however, did not end there. One of the most frustrating things about this is that this person has been sending me non-stop subscription emails, which, as you can tell by the pages on my screenshot, there are literally more than 100. And as of right now, after having spoken about this on Twitter, I immediately received even more emails, as well as this person trying to subscribe me to Pornhub, as well as weird and gross pornographic diaper fetish sites. No, I'm not fucking kidding. I even received a threatening message on Twitter after speaking out, which was since deactivated after I called them out. That's everything that's been happening, and as of right now, while the emails haven't stopped, the fact that they've just still trying to cause me distress and annoyance and not show their face at all is just astounding to me. How cowardly can you be to constantly attempt to avoid the consequences of your own disgusting actions, while simultaneously dedicating nearly a year-long worth of your time in harassing and stalking someone literally just because you don't like a fictional character that someone else enjoys? It's insane to me. There is a lot of fandom discourse surrounding Asgore as a fictional character about whether or not he did was moral. And while that's a discussion to be had for another day, the fact remains that they hated this character this much that they went out of their way to invalidate and harass me for my trauma and attempt to out me to my mother, literally just because of their hatred for him. It's just insane. It's completely okay to dislike Asgore, and even though I think it's a bit weird to call him a literal pedophile, while this wasn't even shown at all in the game that he's from, this has crossed beyond the line of fandom drama and discourse. This is someone who has been actively threatening and harassing me and stalking me online. That is not okay. With all of this out of the way, I want to take the personal time to talk about why Asgore is my favourite character and why I've got such a personal attachment to him. When Undertale came out, I was going through a lot of domestic violence and abuse, primarily from my father. I don't want to go into the details, but I actually found myself at the time wishing that Asgore was my father instead, just because of how bad it became, and I found comfort in that, as well as being able to relate to his character and his motives. So you can only imagine how much distress this has caused me over the past couple of recent months. It has just caused me to shut down completely with my health and sanity, literally just deteriorating because of this person, especially because the situation with my father only worsened just recently. I have had continuous mental breakdowns, and even today I've been feeling overwhelmed just by everything going on. However, I'm slowly beginning to build myself back up again, and I will not let this person win anymore, and simply post what I love and enjoy as well as embrace my art. I wanted to make this video because not only do I want awareness spread in the fandom of this kind of issue, I also wanted to hopefully gain something from all of this and be able to live normally again. I would appreciate it if you could share this video and cover it so the community is aware of this awful person. Thank you so much again to Prison Mate Luke for supporting me in this. I cannot express how grateful and appreciative I am that he is helping me lift my voice and allow me to have a platform where I can vent about the awful, heinous shit that I've been putting up with. I never really thought I'd get this far, but thank you. I hope to be able to focus on more positive content in the future. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.